3D scanners have come a long way in recent years. It used to be the case where you could only buy a budget scanner for over €2,000, but things have changed somewhat and we've added a bunch of new scanners to the shop for beginners and for something a little heftier. For a lot of you, and I would include myself in this group, you're interested in a 3D scanner that can improve your workflow with 3D printing. This means dispensing of modeling almost entirely, because let's face it, CAD can take a long time, even for a professional who has been reverse engineering things for years or doing similar tasks like that. For a complicated piece, that can take a really long time. So what if you had a scanner? You have a physical object that you want to recreate. You scan it and you print it. Instead of spending a whole day meshing things together, you have it ready in a few minutes. A lot of the time in 3D printing, we are interested in tools that can help speed up the process a bit. So maybe you get a printer that can print at 600 millimeters per second instead of 300 millimeters per second. Maybe you get a high flow hot end, a high speed filament, a high speed resin. These are great, no doubt about that. But if you need to recreate a physical object from basically scratch, there is no better time saver than a 3D scanner. So I'm trying out 3 scanners: the 3D Maker Pro Mole, the Revopoint Pop3, and the Creality Raptor. Let's see which one is more suitable for you. All right, we're gonna test these first on a simple run-of-the-mill object. My father-in-law got this for me as a housewarming gift a few years ago, and I hate it. It creeps me out. Like it's like he's not even a garden gnome, like he's pretending to be a garden gnome. I think it's the mix between the painted on sclera and the transparent plastic iris. It's so creepy. Also, I'm not sure if he's wearing trousers or not. This is mad creepy. So I'm gonna scan it, print 10 of them, and then scatter them around his garden when he's not looking. This is the 3D Maker Pro Mole. The standard version comes in at $379.99 right now, with an accuracy up to 0.05 millimeters, a resolution of 0.1 millimeters, near infrared LEDs. Color mode is only available with the luxury kit. It has anti-shake modules which allow a high frame rate, that being 10 per second. You can scan items up to 1,500 millimeters across. It uses a USB for interface and it outputs to OBJ, STL, and PLY. Pretty standard scanning formats. Okay, so first thoughts, the size is okay, but it feels like really, really bulky in one hand, and it's super smooth. There's no grip, and I am kind of scared that I would drop it, like it would slip. There's no strap or anything, which I'm not that fond of. It feels like something that I shouldn't grip. It feels like a glazed ceramic vase. Okay, so in the software, JM Studio, you have the option to do an easy scan or a table scan. An easy scan is for using the scanner in your hand without a turntable, and obviously a table scan is for using the turntable. Well, we have a turntable, but let's try the easy scan first. Next up, we are going to use an automated turntable for a table scan. Now, you don't really need to use a turntable for this scanner. In fact, for pretty much all scanners, a turntable is not completely necessary. However, it does make things easier rather than just moving around, doing multiple scans and merging things. So it is very useful to have a turntable. If you don't have one, you can sort of DIY one out of a microwave platter. You don't need to have it automated. You can just turn it every so often. Or there are lots of designs online, printables and Thingiverse and such, where you can find designs to build your own turntable that are powered by servo motors or stepper motors. You can scan the turntable first and then select that in the software to remove it, but I'm just gonna go for it. So I thought the tracking failed, but I went into edit mode and it seems to be completely fine. What is useful is that if you need to change something or add a new scan to merge with the previous scan, You can just append it and get back to it if you want. You do have access in the software to change the brightness, the sensitivity, the quality, and the scan mode. Brightness and scanning is really just there for fine adjustment, and I actually didn't need to change anything. It worked totally perfectly the first time. The scanner can scan in geometry and texture mode. However, this does not have a color option. Sorry. And here is the finished scan. It looks a bit rough, but that is okay because the software will reduce the noise and repair where necessary. It also includes a hole repair. You can also remove parts that are not necessary with a plane or boundary selection so that the parts at the bottom where the base was can be removed. If you want, you can rescan, and when this is done, the software can align all the scans so all the data is used to process a single model. I actually find this to be really fluid and easy to use during the scan process. Scanners that I've tried in the past have been kind of clumsy and slow, and for this being so affordable and also having only a 10 frame per second speed, I am really impressed with this. Okay, let's talk about issues. So firstly, black parts and very dark parts. Not totally reliable. For some really dark parts like the bow tie and the feet, we had issues. The scanner cannot adequately scan very dark parts. You got to use this. This is a matting spray specifically for 3D models, and we have a ton of these in the shop, and they're really useful for dark parts, reflective parts, or things that are transparent. After you use this spray, there is no issue with dark parts anymore. And this problem is not exclusive to the mole scanner. Actually, pretty much all scanners have this issue. So I'm not really surprised here that it is challenging for it. So what about a face scan? Come on, everyone wants to scan a face and have a little reproduction of it. Everyone wants it. Okay, what about thin parts? So scanners have problems with thin parts, and I'm interested to see if this can do it. So I have this woven style container that is 3D printed. Let's see if it can do it. Nah, not really. So final thoughts. It is very, very fluid and easy to use. I do like this. I hate the grip. I'm so scared I'm gonna drop this. The scanning software is good. It's quite basic, but for me that's not a big deal. If I need to, I can use CAD to edit things if necessary. But this isn't CAD. This is scanning software. And for everyday run-of-the-mill parts like this guy, it's fine. You don't need to make any adjustments. It's not really that necessary. So this is great as a beginner scanner. I would recommend it for beginners. Face scan was a bit disappointing, as was the thin parts, but the thin parts is a problem for pretty much every scanner. I'm not really that surprised that it did not do well with it. For beginners and for simple objects like Mr. Gnome here, yeah, it's a great scanner. I would recommend it. But for anything like extreme detail, color scans, no, wouldn't recommend it. Okay, next up is the Revopoint Pop3. This scanner also uses near infrared as the light source, but it also uses a white light for color scans. So yes, this does have color capability. Scan speed is around 15 frames per second. It has a 0.05 precision, and it is currently in the shop at €692. The max object size is 2,500 millimeters across. But what I really like about this scanner that I did not like about the mole is the feel. You got a tripod which works as a handle too. It feels a lot more secure, and you have more control over rotating it than you did with the mole, like way more. It also comes with a turntable, a calibration plate, markers, and this cute bust who I'm going to call Biggest Dickus from now on. All right, let's get scanning. And I expected the first scan to be pretty much perfect. It was not. For some reason, when tracking would be lost, the auto-align feature just failed, and I got a gnome with 4 hands. I was not happy. So I tried again this time using the supplied tripod and turntable and doing multiple scans, and probably most importantly making sure the depth camera was not overexposed. This did a lot better, and the point cloud capture was way more even and thorough, and there was no tracking lost. We got a good model, but that took considerably longer than the mole. Despite the longer time, the Pop3 has something that the Mole does not, and that is mobile scanning. You can connect the scanner via Wi-Fi to either your computer or your phone, as it has an app which is available both for Android and iPhone. If you're doing this, you can plug the scanner into either the mains or a power bank, and the scanner comes with a quick mount for the tripod, and you can have the phone right in front of you as you scan. Not bad. There is a power bank that can come with the luxury version, and that can be used as a tripod or handle, so you have an extra hand free. Just keep in mind that the Wi-Fi on this is a 5 GHz, so if you can connect immediately on your computer, then you might need to adjust your router accordingly. Color scans came out okay. There is some interference when you need to merge the scans, as you can see here, and of course black is a problem. Face scanning? Pretty okay actually. And fine parts? Yeah, there were issues. Okay, so final thoughts. I really like the feel of it. The tripod and the handle make it very secure, but the scanning process is not as fluid as the Mole. In hindsight, this was probably due to the exposure setting I had, as it worked much better when these were set appropriately. The scanning software, however, is somewhat more powerful than what you get with the Mole's JM Studio, and I like that a lot more than the Mole. The mobile nature of this scanner is really cool though, and it does set it apart from other budget scanners. You just need a phone and a power bank, which is awesome. And right now we're testing the standard edition, but with the advanced edition, you get a power bank with it that is also part of that tripod and handle. And you also get a dual axis turntable, which can tilt up to 30 degrees. But I'm a little disappointed with the color reproduction on this. So we had to do multiple scans for this object. And so if you do have something that's medium to largish size, then you will have to do multiple scans. And that didn't really work out perfectly. There was some loss of color fidelity when we merged those scans. So color scanning is a bit disappointing, but it is definitely compensated by the mobile nature of this. Okay, next up is the Creality Raptor scanner, and this one is a little bit different from the two that we've just tested. So in addition to the infrared light source and the white light for color scans, it also has a blue laser for ultra high resolution. With the laser, you can get up to 0.02 millimeters resolution. With the infrared scan, you can get 0.1. The scan speed is also much higher. With the IR, the frame rate is 20 frames per second, but with the blue laser, it is 60 frames per second. Now that sounds a lot and very cool. However, this is absolutely necessary for the blue laser to work correctly. You can scan objects up to 2000 millimeters across with this, so it's a little bit smaller than the Revopoint Pop3. However, unlike the Pop3, there is no mobile option. You can't plug a power bank into this, there is no app on your phone, so it's not really designed for on the go. In terms of feel, it is really nice. There is a flexi rubber textured grip here that makes it really, really nice to use. I think I preferred the Pop3 with the tripod and handle. There was more control with rotation, but this does feel really nice. The scanner comes with a set of markers. These are reflective markers that reflect the infrared, and these are normally used only for the blue scan, but you can also use them for the infrared too. Unfortunately, no turntable this time, guys. Sorry. Calibration is a little bit trickier with this one. I'll be honest, it took me a few minutes to get through it. So let's just give it a go. Let's use old Gnome here. Be friends with Biggest Dickus. Let's go for it. That's nice. That one came out pretty perfectly in just one scan. The only issue was this little hole under the arm. But of course we have a hole fixture feature for that. I have wondered about the hole fixture tools in scanning software. They all seem to be pretty much the same. I compared them to another feature I use in Mesh Mixer, and it is quite similar. I kind of expected more advanced hole fixture in the Creality scan software, something that does curves and smoothing a little better, but it is pretty much the same as Mesh Mixer. The color scan came out pretty nicely too, other than the black parts, which have been sprayed of course. I think it's pretty good, but the geometry comes out so well. This is a really good mesh. I love this. The infrared scan on Creality scan software is actually pretty basic. I didn't need to change anything. The only thing that needed to be changed was the hole issue, but that was mostly my fault. I just forgot about it. So everything was very, very fluid and straight to the point. I didn't need to change anything besides the hole. Now let's try the laser scan. This took a lot longer than I thought because we did lose tracking several times, and with the turntable it was problematic. So instead we did a series of scans and then merged them after. Came out really well, but I would have preferred to have this done in one go. Also at the end, the remove markers tool left one marker. It also just sort of flat fills the space where the other markers were removed, so a little bit of CAD would be necessary to fix this completely. You do get good resolution though. And face scanning? Pretty okay actually. And fine parts? Problematic. So that's my take on these three scanners, all suitable for beginners, however at differing budgets of course. I gotta say I was most impressed with the mole. This was very, very fluid to use. It is the cheapest that we're reviewing today. It's 300 something euro. And yeah, it was just the usability was perfect. What I didn't like was the grip and hold. It just didn't feel right at all. But for beginner's usage, for something as simple model reproduction, that's a great choice. The Pop3 did a way better job of the hold. The haptic is just great for this, and the mobile feature is fantastic. You just put this in your bag with your phone, with a power bank, go for a walk, you see something you like, and you plug all those in and you scan it, it's done in a minute. This is an awesome thing for those of you who want to have something on the go. The Raptor was a little bit overkill for me. So firstly, the IR scan was perfect, the best out of all of these, easily. It was very, very fluid to use. I didn't need to change anything. Everything happened perfectly. And yeah, it was awesome. The color scan as well, easily the best of all of these. The resolution, the best. However, with the blue laser, that was a little bit more tricky for me. And for me, I don't really need that. For simple model reproduction, all I need is a good IR scan. That definitely did it. But the blue laser, bit overkill for my need. Also, the software was a bit lacking. I was disappointed that it could not remove the markers adequately. The cost may seem a bit high, but compared to other scanners in this range, it's actually quite affordable. If you do need to use CAD, I would highly recommend Blender and the sculpting features. You can simply smooth out any issues like the marker removal failures or any issues due to the hole closure. If you haven't guessed by now, I'm a Blender kid. So final thoughts. For simple model reproduction like what we've done here, the mole was an awesome choice. Very easy to use, great price performance ratio, awesome. For on the go, the Pop3 was really great. I love the way it can attach to your phone with the app and with a power bank, super awesome. The Raptor is for high detail work. For me, I didn't need this. Maybe for you, this is important. This is a great one for high resolution. Of course, we have lots of other scanners in the shop and I have linked them down below. If you see something that you're interested in and you have any questions, you can write us down below in a comment. You can email us. Of course, you can also join us on our Discord server where there is fun talk on a daily basis. We'll see you guys next time. Later.